How's that? You're such like an even-keeled guy. Like there's not like a lot happening outside of the ring involving you, like controversy in your name.
Yes.
They're really not synonymous with each other. But you had issues with Josh Burkman that it ended up after you finished him, you spit on him. How does it get to that level?
Well, so that's kind of a long story. That goes back to a good friend of mine, a good training partner here in Utah, a guy named Justin Ellison.
Oh,
Justin
yeah.
Ellison is, So if you follow the sport or back in the early days, he was very well known around the grappling circuit, very, very talented grappler, and actually a pretty talented fighter as well. But he had a little bit of a weird quirk where he had some kind of mental disconnect in a fight. He was one of those guys that was really good in the gym, but could never put it together in the fight.
Okay.
We've all seen him, so he's
A lot of guys like that.
Yeah, one of the best training partners I've ever had. Very, very talented.
Wow.
Just couldn't put it together in the fight. So he and Josh Burkman is also a local fighter. Both of them born and raised in Utah. And so they're constantly going back and forth. They're on the scene constantly. They're both at fights and they're back and forth, blah, blah, blah. So it goes on and on. Burkman is not a very nice guy. And so, there were times where, Justin would fight on a show and Burkman would show up in the audience and just heckle him and blah, 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 do shit like that. And so I had heard at one point, and there's a lot of hearsay here. So this is a little bit embarrassing because I generally don't react this way, but there's a lot of hearsay that goes on. So it is what it is. So I had heard that Burkman would never accept a fight with Justin. They tried to pair him up a few times. Justin was about 210. Burkman was about 195 or so. So they're close enough back in the day to go ahead and throw that fight together. But Burkman would never accept a fight with him, but he was always talking shit about it. So I heard that at one fight, Burkman was the main event. And as he walked out of the fight, he saw a woman that he thought was my buddy Justin's wife. And he spit on her.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
Again, I don't know if it's true. That's what I heard. I feel bad because I kind of let emotions get the better of me.
I believe it.
But yeah, and I know Burkman, it's not terribly out of the question. But again, I don't know for sure, but that's what I heard. So then Justin's a good friend of mine and good training partner of mine. Burkman is constantly talking shit, but refuses to take a fight with him. And then Burkman accepts a fight with me. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And you got to do it.
Now I'm going to fuck you up because you won't fight my buddy Justin. I'm going to fuck you up. And so I was really looking forward to hurting him. He was running his mouth a lot before the fight. That show that we fought on was actually a 2-day show. So, we had fights Friday night and then the rest of the card Saturday night. And so they had kind of like a mini main event Friday night. And then I was the main event with Burkman Saturday night. So Burkman shows up Friday night in the audience wearing a hat, like a homemade trucker cap that says Jeremy Horn is the world's #1 most boring fighter or some shit like that. Just still always talking shit, always being a loudmouth, always being a jackass. So then in the second, so I'm like, look, I'm going to fuck this guy up. I'm going to break his arm or something. I fully intended, like, if I catch an arm, I'm going to break it. I'm not going to wait for him to tap. I'm going to snap his arm. I don't like this guy. He's been talking shit to my buddy. He took a fight with me. I'm going to end his career. I was going to hurt him. So the fight goes on. I don't know if you guys saw the fight, but I was trying to throw punches at him. He shoots in. He takes me down a couple of times. Eventually, he shoots in. He takes me down. And I'm a little bit of a believer in karma. And I put him in a guillotine. And I'm thinking to myself, if I let go of this guillotine, it could go badly. You keep giving up submissions and in favor of something else. Sooner or later, you're going to pay for that. I can't keep letting go of these submissions. So I choke him unconscious. That's kind of another funny story, but I choke him unconscious, and I get up, and the whole fight was only like a minute and a half. And I get up, and I'm like, fuck! I'm so fucking angry. I wanted to hurt him so badly, but because I'm like, I'm not gonna test fate. You give me a guillotine a couple of times, I'm gonna finish it. But I was so fucking angry. I wanted to hurt him so badly, and I was like, what do I do? Fuck it. I just spit on him. I was just so angry. I had no other, outlet because the fight was over. I wanted to hurt him so badly, but the fight was over.
It's funny how sometimes when your adrenaline's going like that and you're in the moment, like you do things that it's almost like you're looking at yourself from outside. You're like, was that just me? Or even like your interviews and stuff, you say like, that's the dumbest thing ever. I wouldn't say that you did. I saw the video. I don't, that was me. I don't get it.
Like, who is that jackass? That's not me, because I would never say that. Yeah, absolutely. I look back and I'm like, fuck, that was so out of character for me. Because I mean, like, even when guys I don't like, I don't do that. But yeah, just something came over me that night, man. Everything came together.